Hi everyone, it's Becky here from Ivy's Corner. I'm going to draw a tangle today for you called Huggins. It's a kind of a classic Zentangle tile from the headquarters that they've kind of defined for us. It's a lovely one for all sorts of things. It starts off as it's like a seed tangle, but it adds brilliant drama to a tile. It can also be kind of a high focus. If you pop it in the middle of a tile, it can be the main event of your tile. But it's also quite useful to use it almost like a grid, so you can kind of put other tangles inside it. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to start off my Huggins tangle by drawing a little kind of a grid of little black orbs. So when you draw these, you can be a bit more precise in terms of like working out, you know, where the halfway point is and doing it that way, but I'm kind of just freestyling. Going fairly small with this one, in a bit more of a grid structure than if I was going to be using it as kind of a kind of the high focus tangle on a tile, the main event of the tile, as it were, just to kind of almost show you how it works as a grid, and keeping it fairly straightforward without going too off-piste and crazy with it. So for example, you can use this one, you could create a crazy Huggins and you could go all over the place with your dots and join them together in crazy ways. But we're going to focus here with a fairly straightforward version. So we've done our little grid of dots, and then we're going to join those together. So I'm going to start off by joining this one here. We're going to do some takeoff and land. So takeoff and land, we're starting on this corner and coming round to join the other side in a C shape. So we're going to start at the top of this orb here, come round, and join at the bottom here, almost like an old-fashioned telephone. And then on the next one down, instead of doing the same thing, we're going to come on the other side. So we're going to start off, come round to the right-hand side of this one, come down and round to the left. And then on this one, we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to come round and down, like so. Now, moving along to our next line of dots, we're going to do kind of the opposite basically. So rather than coming round here, we're going to come round the opposite way to where our little line came here. So this one's come round to the left of this dot, this one's going to come round to the right. So coming round to the right and coming down here. So we've got a mirror basically of this shape here. And then this one's going to come in like this. So we're going to come round and in, and then round the outside there. And then we're going to do another we're going to repeat this line over here. So we're going to come round the top and down, round the top and down, round the top and down. So we're just kind of alternating the direction in which this is going. And then this line, we're going to copy this one. So we're going to go round and down, round and down, start drawing here, start drawing here, and then come around here. There we go. So that's the kind of basic first step. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn our tile this way, and we are going to do the same thing. So we're going to bring this one round like this, and this one round like this, and just repeat that pattern. And then we're going to mirror. So instead of coming around the outside, we're going to kind of mirror this one, bring it in and round, out and round, in and round. And you can see how this is starting to take shape. We're going to copy our first line down, so we're going to come out and round, in and round, and then out, like so, and then mirror. And you can see how this has kind of created a bit of a hatching kind of effect. So this one looks like it's tucking underneath here, this centre one I'm tucking underneath. And this is a really good one to use when we've got some shade we can add. So I'm going to pick up my pencil and I'm just going to consider where things look like they might be travelling underneath another one. So I think here, I'm going to turn my tile and point my graphite in towards the most defined area. Like this. And here as well. And because it's a sort of a hatching sort of pattern, it kind of does, all of the sections will have some sort of shade on them because one of them's going over and one of them's going under. So I'm not pressing hard when I'm using my graphite. Just a nice gentle, sort of lightly touching the pencil onto the paper. And then this one here. I suppose an easy way to think of this is that I'm adding the graphite where the line curves in, rather than the line curving out on this side. So I might just add some on the outside as well, actually. Just to make sure we're kind of really getting that illusion of depth. Okay, we'll do these ones as well. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to get my tortillon and I'm going to start to blend. I'm going to do all of the directions where I'm shading in this kind of side in one go. There we go. Just gently little circles onto the graphite to encourage it into the paper, and just very gently sort of moving it out as I go as well. I turn my tile, do this side, and you can see how that's really starting to give you a bit of a three-dimensional effect. I always think that the shade really adds the magic with, oh, I've missed one, with Zentangle. And there. Always have to go back and add bits and bobs that I've forgotten. Being careful not to take that graphite over the lines. Turn my tile. This does look really effective, this one, if you kind of go a bit wild with where you're drawing the initial kind of seed shape, like dot shapes. Because then your Huggins kind of goes all over the place. It's really cool. Turning my tile again just to make sure that my hand's in a nice relaxed position. Just spotted I missed another one on this side. There we go. I think we're nearly done with the shading. My apologies if watching this you can spot somewhere and you're shouting at your screen, don't forget that bit, don't forget that bit. I'm going to just quickly add a little touch more graphite actually, just to kind of really emphasise these shadows. Just along the line, just to give it a little bit more depth. The darker the shadows, the kind of deeper you perceive that it goes into the tile. So just adding a little line of graphite. Now this one I'm not going to blend out a huge amount, but I'm going to just soften it so it kind of merges back into the shadows that I've already placed. Just adding layers of shade can really enhance the definition. I've lost track of which direction I've started in, but such is life. We will see if there's anywhere obvious I need to do more things to at the end when we come to kind of review the whole tile. There we go. So I've just added a little bit more, and I'm not going to put it outwards a lot. I'm just going to kind of run my tortillon along all these vertical lines here, just to kind of soften that line so it's not so defined. Taking time to breathe, nice and relaxed, because this shouldn't be a stressful process. This is fun. Finding our focus. I've missed a bit here, just with an additional. So many lines, so many ins and outs. It's hard to keep track of them all. Almost there, and then we can start just popping a couple of highlights in, which will enhance that contrast and the definition even further. Here we go, nearly done. I think that's that. Smoothing out these transitions between light and dark. I've got quite a lot of graphite on my tortillon now as well, so I can just go back in and tweak as necessary. Right, there we go. Okay, so now I've got my white charcoal pencil, my white chalk pencil, and I'm just going to add a little bit of it to the centre of each of these kind of Huggins shapes. What's really, I think I mentioned before, what's really nice about this tangle is that if you draw it nice and large over a large space, you can use these Huggins spaces here to fill with other tangles. It becomes a sort of its own little grid, which looks very effective. There we go. So popped a little bit of chalk in there. I've got a special tortillon, which I've labelled white, so that I can use it for jobs such as these. And I'm just gonna not blend it even as much as I did with the graphite, just gently soften the edges of where I've added that chalk. Very gently. Don't want to damage the paper. The other thing you might want to do with your chalk is, if you're using one, is just to give it a little blow, because it does create a little bit of dust. And there you have it, Huggins. Hope you enjoyed it.